Good afternoon, dear beloveds. This is White Wolf. I'm going to start off by enacting protocols called on the live fire dragon, earth and water dragon, Quines, pink dragon, golden orange dragon, Ezekiel, my two black dragons, the black dragon from Saturn, the earth and water dragon. Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Sandalphon, Raphael, Mother Mary, Saint Germain, the Intergalactic Council, the Galactic Federation of Light, grandfather, grandmother, and the tribal women are also in attendance. And this is White Wolf. We're exposing how we used to see life on a day-to-day basis, how society treats us, how our family treats us, how we don't fit in, how we don't fit the mold, how we are the higher self now. And how would you see your lower self in your highest form, and what would you say to your lower self as you being the higher self? What would you say to that? How would you look at yourself? Because we can all debate and say that, oh, I wasn't a bad person. I wasn't giving my power away, because we were giving our power away to this boy, this girl, this person that we used to be, and that was the 3D version of ourselves. But now we're the 7th D version of ourselves. We're the higher self. We are God in human form, but we're not taking credit. But we are our own gods. We are not just the Alpha and the Omega, but we are individuations, our own versions of Source. So as I'm sharing out, please share out to all the groups. And if I can't share out, just share out for me. But this is White Wolf. I hope you all are having a fantastic evening. And I can't share out right now. Oh, wait, I gotta check the internet connection. Hold on, guys. Because now it's not letting me share out. Let me see here. Okay, it's not going to let me share out, so let me get on with the message. But really, what we're doing as light workers, we're exposing the way society sees us. We're exposing how we just have been living a lie, how we've been living the illusion, and now we're actually creating reality for what it really is, what we want to see unfold in our reality. And now, not only we're exposing spiritual people that think they are a being, they think that they're Archangel Michael, they think that they're Jesus. And there's a lot of people that have the story quite like Jesus. There's a lot of people undergoing a lot of spiritual growth. We're a lot of fast trackers, and I am a fast tracker, but I am not saying that tooting my own horn. I'm saying this because there's going to be people who are completely in the light, but you cannot keep giving credit and credence to the darkness that you used to be. You can't keep giving credence to the darkness. You got to stop talking about the darkness. And once we stop associating with the darkness and fully embrace the beam of light that we are, of the higher self, the most purified version of ourselves, God himself, and the holy matrimony of who we are in our true state of being, in our true state of frequency, what we want to be, and what example that we want to set. Because I do these live feeds for me. It helps me breach through something. But I also do these live feeds because I want to be of service to others. And you're going to see people in their highest form, and they're going to want to do this for themselves. They want to be service to self-oriented. They don't want to be service of others. They're doing this to boost their ego, to boost their self-gain, to boost just making money off of people. But I always want to say and leave everything on the table and fight for the courage of authenticity. Because what's being inauthentic is you being afraid to do something, is you being afraid to say what you need to say. And trust me, I haven't been able to do this, because my only strength is the tenderness of my heart, and I will always say this. It is my femininity. It is my feminine quality in the male vessel. That is my power. That is what ignites me, is my femininity, but also just the authority. It's okay to be a little sassy sometimes. It's okay to be a little bit of a smart aleck. But we need this disrespectful respect. We don't need to be pushed around anymore. We don't need to have people tell us what we need to do when we need to do it. We don't need to be told what to do. We know what we need to do, and we need to quit fighting the higher self, and we need to fully embrace it, but we need to fully embrace the light. And I mean, every time that I do something, every time I do a live feed, I could be making a mistake. I could be saying out of turn. I could be speaking out of kilter. I could be saying something. But now that I have the awareness that I possess, and now that I can speak the truth when it needs to be spoken, and when I feel led to give the truth to all of you, that's all I want to speak. That's all I want to walk in. That's all I want to live, breathe, and eat is spirit. And God is truth. The power of God is truth. And we all need to be slain in the spirit. We all need to embrace God's grace and His humility and His devotion, and not take credit for it. And I know I keep saying this is because I made this mistake. And you can be led astray by yourself. You can be pushed aside by yourself. You can get in the way of your own growth. You can get in the way of being a champion. So stop standing in your way. Stop getting in the way of your blessings. Protect it. Love it. Cherish it. But what we're doing as light workers is we're exposing... Hey, come here. Sorry, my dog was coming out. And he was about to run after somebody. But we're exposing the way that we see life on a day-to-day basis, our assumptions, our feelings, everything. The way that we treat people, the way our family treated us, the way that we look at a movie. The energy of a movie can be very bad in your household. There's a lot of violence in that movie or that said show. Don't watch that show because it is not inspiring you. It's not holding you accountable for certain things. And when you awaken, you are being held accountable. It's a lot of the times a slap on the wrist. But it's a slap on the wrist to nudge you in the right direction. And we all need mentorship. We all learn from relationships, from friendships, from our family, from our incarnations, from ourself. We all need to be mentored. We all need to be nudged in the right direction. We all need to be kind of put on the spot sometimes. Sometimes we do speak out of turn. Sometimes we can have an ego about ourselves because we did a live feed and it felt so great. And I'm really talking about myself. And we felt so great about this live feed, and we were speaking out of turn. And then guess what? They come in. They're like, "You haven't stepped into your fullest authority. You need to take a step back. You need to stop speaking that way. You need to take a step back." And I'm telling you my own experiences. And I had this vision last night about this galactic spider and this certain master. This galactic spider took me to this place where it's all white, and this master was sitting across from me. And I told him, because I watched his video and I was not a big fan of it, or I didn't like his spirit. And he was like, "You didn't like my video, did you?" And I said, "I just didn't like your spirit." And he said, "Fair enough." He said, "Fair enough, but in your lifetime, in your path, in your spiritual journey, you will have to command respect. You will have to command authority. You will have to stand truly in your power. And it may come off as if you are being very, very mean or angry or in disdain, but it's actually coming from a place of true sincerity and love and authenticity and speaking the truth, because sometimes the truth really hurts. Sometimes the truth really hurts. Sometimes our own truth really hurts. Do you think that I haven't had moments where I've had to go into the deep depths of myself? I had to destroy my ego. I had to destroy lust even from my father. I had to destroy a spirit imparted from me. I had to destroy my old self. I had to have my higher self almost put his hand up and just collapse my old self and destroy it and get rid of it and throw it in the trash because it's not serving you. And as we keep going higher and higher and leveling up, We are going to expose even certain people who have power. And you're going to see people change, and they're not going to want to do this for the service of others. They're going to be in it for themselves. Some people started this path in it for themselves. But once you really just want to take your eyes off yourself and start blessing others and start wanting to instill a change in others and wanting to update them and revamp them, but don't take credit for it. Know that the grace is on your life and you're being allowed these new superpowers. We can't all be afforded power because we will abuse it, because with great power comes great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. Do you think all of these superheroes, all of these superheroes have a light worker's journey? We all are like the Avengers. All of us are like the Avengers. We're like the Avengers because we all have a path. We all have catalysts and reflections and things we need to empty out of ourselves. But once we do, now we become quite like Jesus, because Jesus was there to be an example for people, and we are here to be an example for people. We're here to show people a different way to live their life. We're here to show people the way to have more patience, to have more faith, to acquire willpower, to acquire discipline, and living a spiritually disciplined life in service to all, not in service of yourself, because that is Satan wearing a disguise so that I can accumulate all this for me, 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 me. It can't be about you, 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 you. It just can't be about you. You have to take your eyes off yourself and realize that you have to put yourself out there to bless people. Because a lot of these live feeds, yes, we do this for ourselves to maybe break through something, maybe to get something off of our chest, maybe something has been kind of unfolding within our consciousness and we want to spread light to other people. But there's going to be many Jesuses. There's going to be many superheroes coming out of the woodwork, light workers that are not going to know the magnitude of their power, and who are going to teach the children of the next generation, of the next evolution of consciousness. Because there's going to be youngsters, and I am young myself, but I mean little babies. Young kids that are going to be so powerful, and they need to be accepted, and they don't need to be rebuked. Because when we go along this path, we're trying to find acceptance within ourselves. And we're trying to give in to the new configuration and give in to becoming the oracle of love, light, and wisdom. Because becoming your own source of creation, becoming the higher self, is not easy. But once you start to see that everybody is living the illusion, because we go through the veil of amnesia, and it's not anyone's fault that we don't remember everything, that we don't glimpse our whole overview of our spiritual journey right here, right now, because we are all living this lie, and we have to all find our truth. We all have to find our own voice, find our own words of wisdom, find our own source of creation, what our energy really is. Are we a healer? Are we a channeler? Are we claircognizant? Are we clairvoyant? Are we all of these things of individuations of creation? Are we all of these things kind of wrapped in one? But there's not just, there is a one singular truth of all things. And what we need to do, we need to shed light on things. We need to expose the light. We need to expose the darkness. We need to expose other people who are abusing their power. But we're not trying to talk down to people, trying to talk ill of people. But we have to really know what we are channeling, what our energy is, what we are doing, and if we're purified in our stance of how we're doing this. And it doesn't matter if anyone is on this live feed right now, because it's this message is going on through the multiverses right now. And we all need help. We all need mentorship. We all need a nudge in the right direction. We all need to learn some of our lessons by ourselves. Sometimes we have to face our own truth. Sometimes we have to learn what our truth is. Sometimes we just really have to eat our own shit, and we have to slap ourselves on the wrist, and we have to really teach ourselves how to be an example for the next generation. What example are you setting for yourself? What example are you setting for your partner? What example are you setting for the collective? Because people are talking about this light and dark, and no. I'm sorry. I'm here to tell all of you that there is no light and dark. You either have to be God, or you're the imposter, or you're a false idol. Because what we've been giving our life to, like working a 9 to 5 for 40 years straight and thinking that we have to do that in order to see the world, that's a false narrative. That's a negative belief. That is like the antichrist of all thinking. It is not the way God thinks. God thinks prosperous. God thinks wondrous. God thinks adventurous. And God sees all resolution to all problems. And we can't build Rome in a day, but we can see civilization change in so many different ways over time. We're not here to change the world. We're here to make a world a better place and expose and shed light on this encompassing issue that we have with ourselves. We're here to shed light on how everything that we thought was truth was not truth. Now, in some ways, our life plays out, and there's things in our life that seem unfair, that seem unjust, that seem very painful to experience. That seem very, very painful to experience, but God would not put you through that if He didn't think that you could handle it. And we go through hell to truly find heaven on earth. But we have to make a choice today. Are we going to shed light on something? Or are we going to keep resonating from a lower energy, from a lower vibration, from a lower intelligence? Should we vibrate at a higher intelligence? Because I try to stay within the state of frequency that I want to stay in. I smile at the world. Even when I'm impatient sometimes, when I was this morning downloading videos and it was taking forever and I had to watch a video on how to download videos, and then I troubleshooted and I had some patience, and I'm like, why am I getting frustrated? Is that the way Source would handle this situation? And we can make a comic relief about this, like, what would Jesus do? Because what would Jesus do in this moment of frustration? He would just send it back to Source. That's what you have to do with all the way that you live life every single day, is just sending it back to Source and telling them and asking and believing and receiving and just asking them, can I have more patience? Can I have more grace? Can I have more love within my heart, within my being? Can I be all that I can be right at this moment? Can I be all that there is? Please, Source, allow me to be an instrument of your peace. Please, Source, let me be an instrument of your peace, so that I can show others that they can be an instrument of sincere love, light, and generosity. But even when we awaken, we expose ourselves. We're falling on our sword, laying ourselves naked before Source, and letting Him clean us out. And it's like Operation, like the game Operation almost. And it's like each stage that you go through in your awakening, they're exposing this, they're exposing that. They're making you look at this, they're making you look at that. Sometimes you're not ready to hear this, and sometimes you're not ready to hear that. But it's like in your head, they could be pulling out ego. In your heart, there might be a black spot that you need to get rid of. And they're emptying you out and purifying you more and more and more. So don't feel so frustrated when you go through times of healing, when times of clearing, times of exposing yourself, because that's what it really is. But then we get to have some power, and once we get that power, we're not only exposing and shedding light on how we live life, on how we manifest, on how we treat people, on how we don't expect from people, and that respecting free will, and just seeing the purification in all things, and seeing everybody as God, as the infinite reality, and that when we incarnate here, we see everything. We're like before creation, and as we're going through this telescope, we're seeing all of our lifetimes all coalescing inside of this one vision. But then they're like, well, they have to rediscover this, because it would be too much for a human being to deal with this. Because it would be too much. It would be too much knowledge. It would be too much healing, too much exposure of yourself and all of these different lifetimes. And once we are going along our journey, we're stepping closer and closer to after creation, obtaining the absolute reality, obtaining the state of bliss, the state of ecstasy, where we get to embrace this reality when we're fully enlightened. So right now we're in the beginning stages of before creation. We haven't seen all of our creation. We haven't rediscovered the path of self-remembrance fully. We haven't glimpsed it all, the whole big picture of this thing fully. But it's one step closer, and it's baby steps, and it's a crawl almost. It's a crawl, and then it's a walk, and then it's a run, and then it's a sprint. And as it is the run, the sprint, then the 800, and then the you know all the track. I don't know all the track stuff. I almost went into track before, but I don't know all the track stuff. But you sort of get my point. We're not only seeing all of our 1,000,000 lifetimes kind of coalescing inside of one, but we're like the movie Infinite, and we're kind of tapping back into this lifetime, to that lifetime, and then we're realizing things about our future. But the only way to realize stuff about our past and stuff about our future and stuff of other lifetimes and the universal knowledge that we've had since the dawning of mankind is to live fully in this present moment. That is the only way that you fully live in the present of you being of your most innermost being. But once we kind of get into, and once we switch the dial, once we kind of find our voice, once we find our intelligence and our knowledge and who we really are as a soul, I'm going to kind of calm myself down, because I make mistakes all the time. I speak out of turn sometimes. I've taken for granted things in life. And I have been in my ego before. I've had times of vanity. But we all do this. But now I made a decision to fully be who I am in all aspects, in all the times of the day. And it's really hard, because sometimes you'll have a weak moment. Sometimes you have to eat something, because you're still a human, even though you are source. Sorry, I'm going to let the noise die down. And I said this the other day to MorningStar. I remember my job that I worked at, it was really noisy. The mechanic shop was noisy. Everything was kind of noisy. And when you live a bitter, noisy life, and you're negative, and you're complacent, and you're only worried about you, that's no life to live. That's no life to live. That's no life to live bitter. And that's no life to hate everything, to hate everybody, to worry about what's on the news channel all the time, and worry about he said, she said stuff, and worry about, no, you got to work on you. You got to love you. You got to accept all the aspects of you. You got to accept what triggers you. Why were you so hungry and you gave in to Burger King? Which I did today after I left Planet Fitness. But why did I give in to Burger King? I could have made a healthy decision, but I was so hungry that I didn't think I was going to make it home, so I had to get something to eat. But we have to remember that we're still human. We're still human. We're still a human being. We may be source in human form, but sometimes we have to play with conventional reality, and there is something to be gained from the 3D. There is something to be learned from the 3D. And there is something to be learned from all aspects of ourselves. And every other light worker that is not doing the same thing that we're doing. Because if we were all the same, we would not shine the way we need to. And what puzzle piece that we're filling up for this whole creation. We're all part of this big puzzle. We're all part of this big picture. But we need people in their right places. We need somebody to be the legs. We need somebody to be the feet. We need somebody to be the head. We need somebody to be the chest. Everybody has their place, and it doesn't matter if we're all doing the same thing, because it's all the singular truth. It's just all God. It's God to God. It's source to source. It's divine feminine and divine masculine coming together so that it can be pure, bright light. We're all here for a destiny. We're all here for a journey. We're all here for triumph. We want to have an impact on others and make the world a much better place to live. At least that's what I want. I don't want this just for myself. We all like to be comfortable. We all like to have this or that. But success does not mean happiness, but having peace of mind, having peace knowing that you can sleep at night, that's not worth any dollar. Is to truly have peace of mind and peace of self and self-love and self-respect and self-actualization and self-realization, realizing the true self, realizing the oracle of love, light, and wisdom in his or her truest form. But it's not a race. It's slow and steady truly wins the race, because the spiritual journey is slow and steady. Some of you have been on the spiritual path for 20 years. Some of us have been on it for 5 years. Some of us have been on for 2 years. But it's a beautiful journey. It's a beautiful journey once you get past yourself. It's a beautiful journey to be a Jesus, to be an Ezekiel, to be a Joel Osteen, to be a Bentinho, to be a White Wolf, to be a MorningStar, to be a Thomas Sawyer. It's beautiful that you finally have an identity, and you can finally identify yourself with your true state of being. I think that's what's so beautiful about it, because we all felt like we've been left out. We've all felt like we've been rebuked. We've all felt like that people had a misperception of us. But it doesn't matter. Because we understand ourselves. Because we accept ourselves. Because we love ourselves. Because we know the devotion and the calling that is on our life. And once you have something to be committed to, once you have something to wake up in the morning to, once you just know that this is it, and this is now, this is the time, this is the year, this is the season, that this is it, that this is what I need to do with my life. And the most wisdom and grace I've been bestowed has been by my partner. Because she's, like, watched one of my live feeds and was like, what are you doing? They said this, you did that. And then it's made me look at myself and be like, maybe that wasn't my best message today, but maybe that was the message that was needed. Oh, I didn't get enough people. Well, maybe that was the amount of people that was needed. It's not about that. It's not about winning or losing. Because you will learn more about your losses than your wins. But be thankful that you're winning. And that you're always kind of winning. Because if you're breathing, if you're seeing, if you're walking, if you're talking, if you're laughing, if you're singing, if you're dancing, then you have won. Because you're living life the way that you want to live life. And that's beautiful. But I think I've talked enough today. I think I've got my point across with all of you. But let's get into some healing. And I'm going to be doing Stupa Mudra energy. It's what the Buddhists use, and I will be doing light language. And feel free to donate, share out to all the groups. This is White Wolf. Make an appointment with me or MorningStar. She's a master intuitive. I am a healer. And just feel this in your innermost being. Ishibana aya atikina kaya ashe ina aya otete makoya atikena kaya atete mataya siti pamataya atikina koya ashapama aya atikena kaya atete matoya shiti pamataya ati hina haya oti hima hoya shiti hana haya atikena koya atete mahaya shitataya haya aina haya haya ho. And when I clap 5 times, you will feel your vibration up its frequency. So don't get out of the state as I clap. Stay in the state and stay within your innermost being, your own residence. Keep your eyes on the light, and only the light. Keep your eyes on the sun. Keep your eyes on love. Keep your eyes on happiness. Keep your eyes on things that inspire you. Keep your eyes on things that make you feel love. I call upon the golden Atlantean dragon to come in. Light codes are being sent out as we speak. It's truly the heart that really matters in the end. Take a deep breath, dear beloveds. I enjoy the time that we spent here together today in the collaboration of the healing, in the ascension, in the evolution of consciousness on planet Earth. But when I snap my fingers, you will be at a higher vibration, your state of frequency. You will be the revamped, updated version of yourself, the true self, the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, God in human form. But take a couple more deep breaths. I hope you guys shared out to the groups. This is White Wolf, and make an appointment with me in Morningstar. It will change your life. And also, if you guys know of other platforms to go live off of, other than Facebook, please let us know. Please let us know in the comment section. I hope you guys share to 6 groups. I hope you felt free to donate as well. But this is White Wolf. I hope you enjoyed this message. I hope you enjoyed the profound insight. I hope that it blessed you. I hope that it inspired you to be more than what you are right now. But blessings to you, and you all have a blessed evening.